Hey man, I'm Jusko from Proud Money. The Citi Strata Elite is now officially on the market, ready to be applied for. In this video, we're going to do a fairly deep dive, but I will give you my quick summary right up front here, which is, I don't hate it. I don't love it necessarily, but I don't hate it, especially in comparison to the other high-end luxury travel cards that are now out there on the market. Now, coinciding with the launch officially of the Citi Strata Elite is the fact that the American Airlines Advantage program now is linked up with Citi credit cards, meaning that you can take your Citi thank you points and transfer them into the American Airlines program on a one-to-one basis, provided that you have either this Citi Strata Elite that we're going to talk about, or the Citi Strata Premier, or the old Citi Prestige card, which hasn't been available to new customers for a while, but some people are still holding it. All right, the new Citi Strata Elite is Citi's re-entry into the high-end travel credit card space against things like the American Express Platinum, the Chase Sapphire Reserve, the Capital One Venture X, and maybe others that you would think qualify in that space. $595 annual fee, and the card leans heavily into you booking travel on the Citi Travel Portal and leveraging that American Airlines relationship that Citi has been working very hard to continue to deepen and has done a pretty good job of. All right, looking at the everyday rewards, 12 points per dollar you will earn when you book hotels, car rentals, or certain attractions on the Citi Travel platform. 6 points per dollar when you book airfare on that Citi Travel platform. 6 points per dollar at restaurants, but only on Friday and Saturday nights, what Citi is calling Citi Nights, from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning on Friday and Saturday nights. All other restaurant purchases outside of those windows, 3 points per dollar. And then all the other purchases that you make with the card, 1.5 points per dollar. Now, looking at those rewards, like I said, leaning very heavily into the Citi Travel platform. I don't love this. There's probably a good chance you don't love this, but this is the trend. All of these credit card companies trying to get a piece of the travel pie and giving you greater rewards when you use their platform in order to do so. If you prefer to book direct, you're probably not going to love this card, and you're probably not going to love a lot of the other high-end travel credit cards because everyone is doing it. If you already use, Expedia or one of the Expedia-like travel search engines out there, well, then you might be just fine using Citi Travel instead. In terms of the restaurants, I kind of like these Citi Nights. It's a little different of an idea there, and sort of taking a stand that Friday and Saturday night is the time that people want to be out and at restaurants and having a good time and getting a little extra reward for it. So that is kind of nice as well, I think. 1.5 on everything else. Obviously, it's not ideal, but it means you're still going to feel okay about the points that you're earning on all your other purchases, and especially if you're somebody that only wants to hold 1 or 2 credit cards, that could be something that you feel okay with. In terms of using your points from the Citi Strata Elite, you could turn right back around and use them in the Citi Travel Portal for flights, hotels, etc. on a 1 point to 1 cent basis. When it comes to the pricing there, you also could use your points through one of Citi's travel transfer partners, most notably American Airlines and their Advantage program. You can take your points on a 1-to-1 basis, so 1,000 thank you points is going to equal 1,000 points in the Advantage program. Now, Citi also has JetBlue, Virgin Atlantic, Choice Hotels, EVA Air, and Cathay Pacific as travel transfer partners as well. But American is the big news, and probably this card doesn't even come out if Citi hadn't secured that tie-up with American Airlines, because nobody else has American, and obviously they are one of the major domestic and international carriers that comes out of the US. So a big new tie-up there. So if you're excited about American Airlines, if you're already earning a decent amount of American Airlines points, well, then obviously it could make some sense to get this card and continue to do so. It also appears that if you have other Citi cards, most notably the cashback cards Citi Double Cash and Citi Custom Cash, the cashback that you earn can be converted into points that you can combine with your Citi Strata Elite and then use those in the American Airlines program. So if that's attractive to you, especially, the 5% that you can potentially get on the Custom Cash or the 2% on everything with the Double Cash, if you can then convert those into points that you use through American Airlines, obviously you could earn yourself quite a few points through Citi now with multiple cards here. So that obviously is something that could be very attractive. In terms of a potential bonus for new cardholders, 80,000 points you can earn if you spend $4,000 with the card in the first 3 months of having it, which should get you at least $800 worth of travel. All right, now a card with a $595 annual fee is going to have to give you more than what we've talked about so far. So let's look at those credits that always come with these higher end cards to see how easy or difficult they are to use and how much obviously they are worth. First off, on the Citi Strata Elite, you have an up to $300 credit per year when you book hotels through Citi Travel of 2 nights or more. So you assume with most hotels, if you book them for 2 nights or more, the amount that you pay is going to be over $300. So that first $300 would come back to you. But again, you have to go through the Citi Travel portal, which may be annoying to you, but still fairly easy to use, assuming you're going to travel at least once per year and stay in the same place for 2 nights. And then the second big credit is something that Citi is calling a splurge credit. It is up to $200 per year on purchases that you make at a handful of partners, those being Best Buy, American Airlines, again, Live Nation / Ticketmaster.com, and then you also have First Dibs and Future Personal Training. I assume most people will get their credit out of the first 3 of those partners. Now, like so many credit cards, Citi builds in a little potential breakage on this credit. You do have to activate before you actually make the purchase with any of these partners in order for it to activate the splurge credit here. And you can't have more than 2 of them open and activated at the same time. So if you have Best Buy activated and you have Ticketmaster activated, and then you go and buy something at American Airlines, if you haven't deactivated one of the others and then activated American Airlines, you wouldn't necessarily get the credit when you make that purchase. So they make you do a little work here in order to get this splurge credit, which always is very annoying. But if you max both of those out, you're looking at $500 worth of credits on a card with a $595 annual fee. So I could see how a lot of people would manage to max those out and feel okay about it. So let's look at what else there is on the card, assuming you do max those out. You have an up to $200 Black Lane chauffeur service credit. This is one of those ones that is split $100 first half of the year, $100 second half of the year. So they want you to use it at least twice per year in order to get the full $200 credit. I don't know how many people use chauffeur services from the airport, but if you are one of the high rollers that does, you can get yourself up to $200 credit here. I mostly think this is a throw-in that a lot of people are just never going to access. You do have a global entry or TSA pre-check credit on this card. Obviously, many cards out there in the market have this same thing, but that is a credit of up to $120 per 4 years when you pay for the application to one of these programs that get you through the airport faster with your Citi Strata Elite. Now, any high-end luxury travel credit card is going to have access to airport lounges, and the Citi Strata Elite is no different. You are going to have access to the now expected Priority Pass Select network of airport lounges, and then Citi goes in sort of a different direction, or maybe you could say an upper direction from some of the other cards out there on the market, and they offer 4 American Airlines Admirals Club passes per year. If you were to buy those just straight from American Airlines, it costs you $79 per pass, and you can use those either in multiple times, or if you wanted to, you could just bring yourself and 3 other people all at once and use them all at the same time, which is nice. They don't split them up and make you kind of have some breakage on there. So good on Citi for making that work the way that it should. The Citi Strata Elite does have some travel protections, travel insurances, depending on how you look at it. There is trip delay insurance, there is enhanced trip interruption or cancellation insurance, there is damaged or lost luggage protection, there is some car rental coverage as well. Really no details about these that I could find from Citi. It sounds like you're not going to get the details until after you already have the card in your hand, but there are some sort of expected travel protections on this card that you would think that you would get with a card that you're paying over $500 for. Other things to know about this card: no foreign transaction fees, so you are not going to be paying anything extra when you use it outside of the United States. The Citi Strata Elite is the first World Legend MasterCard, which is a new designation MasterCard has come out with that honestly feels more like branding than anything else, but there may be some extra benefits if you really dig deep into what is offered on this card. I did a whole video about the World Legend designation last week and came up with the idea that I don't really think it means a whole lot, but maybe you're going to find something that I missed. Finally, the Reserve at Citi Travel is a program where you can get certain benefits at higher end hotels when you book them through Citi Travel. Things like a $100 credit, free breakfast, early check-in, late checkout, and potentially other things as well. It varies depending on the hotel. This is sort of similar to the American Express Fine Hotels and Resorts program, and all other sort of high-end travel credit cards seem to have them at this point as well. I really like the late checkout that I've used through American Express Fine Hotels and Resorts, so there can be upsides to doing this sort of thing. I would say to check the prices that you are paying through Citi Travel and compare them to what you would be paying if you went to the hotel directly, because sometimes you get all kinds of nice freebies through these programs and you find out that you're essentially paying for them in the price of the hotel room. So make sure you compare if you're going to do that. So looking at all that together, what do I think? Well, like I said at the beginning of the video, I don't hate it. I don't necessarily love it, but I don't hate it either. Citi has come up with a card that is sort of sitting in a place where Chase and American Express used to sit, and now they're going up market. Chase now over $700. American Express Platinum getting set to make some changes in the fall to the Platinum card. I'm sure they're going to go over $700. Wouldn't be surprised if they're over $800 or even $900 when they're done with things. So even though $595 is still a lot to pay for a credit card, Citi's sort of sitting by itself in some ways in terms of the competitors that I would think of as the big ones in the market. Now you have the Capital One Venture X down below that offers a little bit less at a lower annual fee. So I think Citi is sort of at a good place because they're giving a little bit more than Capital One, and the addition of American Airlines as a travel transfer partner is pretty nice. Now obviously, in order for this card to make sense, you have to max out those credits, the $200 on the hotels, or the $300 on the hotels, and then that $200 splurge credit to really like get you that $500 that you can feel good about sort of getting back. And then if you feel good about those, access to the American Airlines lounges and some of the other stuff going on here, especially if you have other Citi cards like the Double Cash and the Custom Cash, and you take your earnings from those and convert them into points that may be used through American, that is something that could be exciting to you as well. So there are some interesting things going on here, but like any of these high-end travel credit cards, it requires you to do some work, to jump through some hoops, to use these credits, to figure out how to use them without there being breakage, all of that kind of stuff. So they, to some extent, are still following the playbook that American Express and Chase and even Capital One to some extent use to show you a credit, show you a reward, but make it a little more difficult for you to actually get your hands on it. And then one thing that is interesting about what Citi has done is they have made the American Airlines partnership something that works with both the Citi Strata Elite and the Citi Strata Premier, which is the card that has only the $95 annual fee. So if you wanted access to American Airlines as a travel transfer partner and you didn't care about some of this stuff going on with the Elite, you didn't care about getting those American Airlines lounge passes, you don't want to mess with all these credits and have to jump through hoops, etc., you might just go after that Citi Strata Premier instead. So I'm kind of surprised that they didn't take that American Airlines partnership and sort of stick it with the Citi Strata Elite alone, because it does give you a cheaper option to access that if that is the most important thing to you. For me personally, I'm a little done with these high-end travel credit cards. I no longer care that much about the lounges. And when you have so many no annual fee cashback credit cards that are giving you 3 to 5% in your biggest categories, and something like the Citi Double Cash or the Wells Fargo Active Cash where you can get 2% on everything, it is very easy to kind of take all of the purchases that you make and get yourself 3% plus kind of across the board between those cards. Now you do have to carry multiple cards to do it, but as far as I'm concerned, that is more where I have my focus these days. These travel cards are just getting more and more expensive, more and more work to get the credits, and even the programs that you can transfer into, whether it's an airline or a hotel program, oftentimes the points aren't worth as much as they used to be, and so it's sort of like you might as well just get your cash in your hand and make those purchases on your own and have the flexibility to do whatever you want with it. That obviously is not something against the Citi Strata Elite in particular. It's against all sort of these high-end travel credit cards. So like I said, I don't hate it, but I don't love it, but I don't love any of them. So that kind of tells you where I am in terms of my thoughts about it. Would love to hear your thoughts about it in that comment section below. Otherwise, I thank you for watching.